Hey girl,
Hello.
hey. Hey,
Hi.
hey,
Hi.
hey,
Hi.
hey,
Hi.
hey, hey,
Hi.
hey.
Hi.
Hey,
Hi.
hey, hey,
Finally.
hey, hey,
Hi.
hey, 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 hey. Oh God, how are you, girl?
Well, it's a Sunday and I had a show last night, so you know what I'm gonna say. I'm tired. So that's all I'll say. I'm tired. I've been good. I've been good. It was a nice weekend. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I was going to go up to the casino this weekend.
Oh,
But
that's why you were going.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's why I was going. But then we had a little tropical storm named Claudine come through. Claudette, Claudine, Claude. I don't understand the effemination or feminization of the name Claude. It makes no sense to me. But yeah, she came through, and there was just rain everywhere, and I didn't want to deal with rock slides, and you know how it is.
Okay.
But that does lead me to a question because I was thinking of this on my drive home.
Okay.
What is the feminization of the name Shlomo?
Shloma.
Shlomette.
Ooh, probably Shlomet.
Shlomet.
I feel
Shlomet.
like Shlomet makes more sense to me. Shloma, Shloma, Snow.
Shlomine.
Ooh, ooh, I like that one. I like that one better.
Oh God, girl. Well, you keep
Sorry,
thinking while I say something.
sorry. You
Um,
shouldn't have said that to me.
I know. So we've got something special we're doing at the beginning of the show today. Is that not right,
doing.
Maim?
We're doing it at the beginning. Okay, let me
Yeah, girl, we're
say
doing
that.
it at the beginning. It's our intro. It's our intro.
Let me go to my. Let me go to my notes because I put it. I put my questions at the end of my notes. Um. So
So while you're looking for him, explain what we're doing and all that.
yes, I will. I'll be happy to. I'll be
Once,
happy to do
once
that.
she finds her notes, she'll be very happy to explain
Yep.
exactly. I thought I made this clear during the week, but it was Juneteenth. She had a show.
Well,
It
no,
was
I.
a comedy
It's not
show.
that. I have
It's
no. It's
partially
not.
that.
It's not that. It was based on the fact that you when you sent me the thing, I thought we were gonna do the questions at the end. So when I wrote out my notes for the thing, I put them at the very end. That's all. That's all. That's all it was. Nothing crazy. Okay. So okay. Here's
Dear
how it goes. Right.
listeners,
So, dear listeners, so myself and Miss Mims, we really are not technically what we consider to be popular yet. Um, but but
go on.
but I'd say
But
that as a big but um you know myself down here in Miami, as doing a stand up, I got approached to send somebody a profile on myself, and they liked it so much that they wanted myself and Miss Mims to participate in a six questions that we get to ask each other, and we're supposed to do it in written form, but we figure for the podcast we would do it in audio form because we just figured that would be funnier for everybody, I
yep,
guess.
yep.
And so yeah, so we're gonna be doing that first, and then we're gonna dive into that crazy thing that we watched this week, which was just bizonkers.
Yeah, it was.
Um,
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. Hold on. Mama Mims just texted me. Let me text her back, and then
all
hold
right,
on.
Mama Mims.
Hi, Mama
Um,
Mims.
So I'm trying to figure out who this was that sent me this thing. Um, that's my, that's what I was searching for my notes for.
Don't worry.
Um,
This will not go into the writing.
well, I don't. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the people listening might want to follow them
it,
too.
it, is it
Um,
is it the thing you sent me?
yeah, but I didn't send you like I didn't send you like their actual like Instagram page. I just sent you their
You sent me their name.
Did I?
Yeah,
Let's see. Okay, we're
the
doing
Native
blah blah blah.
Society.
Is that it? I'm looking back at our conversation. I don't see that on here. Okay, there we go. Now
Entertainment
I
Network
found it.
Live.
Now I found it.
Yes, nativesociety.com.
Yeah, it's the nativesociety.com. That's the site. They actually do a lot of profiles for different people in the world of comedy. And so we thought they sent us a great little thing about that they had for some other people to ask themselves questions. And I thought, well, good gracious, the two of us could easily do the same thing and answer questions.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh yeah. But I'm just warning you, my questions are off the chain, so there's that.
the only, just FYI, the only other person that uses the term off the chain that frequently is my mom. She loves that term.
Well, Mama Maim and I are in the same boat.
It's like sometimes she says it and it just makes me giggle because I can still remember the very first time she said it and I was like, you're gonna be using that all the time, aren't you? And the answer is yes.
So, how do you want to do this? Do you want to volley them back and forth? Do you want to go one at a time? Do you want to?
Yeah, let's do like one. Let's like volley them back and forth. You can ask me first.
Okay.
And then I'll ask you one.
Okay. Question number 1. What's your favorite shade of green?
Uh, I am actually a lime man myself. I almost said sage, but no, that's not. I used to be my favorite, but lime is more my favorite now.
Okay. My turn.
Okay, your turn. Question number 1. What is funny to you?
What is funny to me? Um So I think that like situational comedy is probably the funniest to me. Of course, I like some goofy stuff, but all in all, I like situational comedy that's not uncomfortable. How's that? Does that make sense? Because when someone's feeling a little, I don't like that. But like,
Okay.
if like, yeah, I'll go with that. Question number 2.
Okay.
Thinking of classic television characters, 50s, 60s, and 70s, who would you want to hang out with?
Ooh, classic TV characters of the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Um, okay, I have two, so of two different decades, right? So let me just do that because I won't be able to choose. So from the 60s, I would definitely hang out with Betty and Wilma from the Flintstones.
Okay.
Because they always seem like a hoot to me, like an absolute hoot. And obviously I love their clothing. And Wilma's pearl necklace. And from the 70s, I would really like to hang out with Hong Kong Fooey.
Okay.
Like, for some reason, you asked that question. I had like instant answers in my brain, and it was
Hong
very
Kong
weird.
Phooey.
Yeah,
Wow.
I love Hong Kong Fooey. I love that like that older black character actor that did his voice. He always had that raspy voice. I love that man's voice. Um, oh, I don't really know many 50s cartoons.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
What's my
All
number
right.
2?
Number 2. Screw, marry, kill.
Uh-huh.
Liza, Bet, and Babs.
Oh. Oh my God. Well, oh no. Oh no. Oh, Babs, I'm sorry. Because I'm marrying Liza because that's fun. I'm screwing Bet because she's a nut. And I'm sorry, Babs, but I'm killing you and taking your money.
Hey, I tell you, it was an answer. That's the best part, right? I was curious to see how that was gonna play out.
So, question number 3. Cindy Crawford or Brooke Shields?
Ooh. Um, I'm gonna. Oh, I'm gonna have to go with Cindy Crawford because I, I love that woman and I love everything. She's like her hordes of supermodel kin of the 90s. They got me through some tough times. So I'm just gonna go with her. Although Brooke Shields, I do love you, and that sitcom, I know nobody else liked it, but I liked it.
Do you know what, just as an aside while we're doing this, do you know what Cindy Crawford's website is?
No?
Cindy.com.
Just Cindy.com?
Cindy.com.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love the fact that her gene pool is so strong that her daughter basically is a clone of her.
Yep.
That to me, and that's saying a lot because her husband was mucho handsome, but that girl took all of Cindy's genes, and I think that is everything.
Yep. All right. Bring on question 3.
Question 3. What do you miss most about quarantine?
I didn't really have to quarantine, so I didn't really miss that much. Like, I was going out, I had to go to work. So, all you people who are in quarantine, I didn't suffer through it, so didn't have to miss much. I guess the grocery store staying open late was something but I don't miss that. So
I do.
So,
Man, I do.
All right. So, you ready for my question 4?
Question 4, yes.
If you had to be covered by cockroaches, slugs, snakes, or grande longlegs, which would you choose and why?
Okay. If I had to be covered by one of them, I would definitely pick slugs because although they are slimy and everything, I have a very visceral reaction to anything insect like on my skin. So,
Okay.
and since I've lived in South Florida, it's just gotten worse because come summertime, they are literally everywhere. And sometimes at night when I'm walking the dog, they get on my ear, they get on my face. Slugs. Just slugs.
Okay.
Question number 4 for you.
Uh-huh.
Describe in detail the last dessert that you ate.
Oh, so from Custom Confections LLC in Cary, North Carolina, today I had DoorDashed over their strawberry cheesecake. It is strawberry reduction put into a classic New York cheesecake. It is with the graham cracker crust, and they also make a chocolate reduction ice, or not chocolate reduction, strawberry reduction icing that they put on top. So it is creamy and delicious and strawberry and fantastic. Bam, bitch.
Why is it a bam, bitch?
Because I feel like I just won the questions.
Are we battling? I didn't think we were battling. Okay. Question 5, I guess.
Question number
Okay.
5. Question number 5.
Yes.
Liquor or beer?
Oh, liquor. We're not That's not even a. I don't even know. Why would you use one of your questions for that? You already know the answer to that question. Like, I cannot. Me and beer, I just don't. I don't get it. I don't understand. I guess I'm just lacking the taste buds that make a person appreciate quality flavored beers, because to me it just all tastes very yeasty and beer like. So liquor, always liquor, number 1.
Okay.
All
Number
right.
5.
Number 5. Does your hubby give you critiques and do you listen?
Critiques? No. Advice? Yes. And depends on what it is. When it comes to, and I think Maim will agree with me here, emotionally relating to someone, I do in fact listen, because I have a very black and white nature about things. Things are my way or wrong. So when it comes to dealing with, and generally, I'm right. I will throw that in there.
I was wondering when you were going to give that qualification to that statement.
But yes, he does offer advice, and I do listen and take it in, and it has made me a better person.
Aww.
Okay.
All right, you're at last question.
Oh my God, you're being chased by zombies. Hurry, you have to throw exactly what's to your direct left. What is it?
A serger sewing machine.
Oh my God, you're gonna die.
I mean, it's heavy. I would think that might do something.
But can you throw it?
Yeah, they're not as heavy. Actually, you know what's funny? Sergers, although they look like the way they do, they're actually not as heavy as a regular sewing machine.
Okay.
But they are heavy enough that if they hit somebody in the head, it could actually like at least do some damage. Probably not that much damage to a zombie, because it won't decapitate it. But it'll do some damage.
It'll give you enough to like cut its head off with one of those Funkos behind you.
Yeah, exactly. All right, your question number 6, and this is based on what our podcast is about. What is your what is your current favorite TV sitcom?
TV sitcom. Huh. So that's hard because when you say current TV sitcom, it goes to my mind of the things that are like the 30-minute, 22-minute, like little spiel, like the classic sitcom. I'm watching Hacks. That's not really a classic sitcom, right? The best one. Oh no. I'll say it's sitcom. Ted Lasso was probably the best one that I've watched, if you count that as sitcom. Other than that, okay, because it's not. It's kind of a comedy drama. I would also say I watched. I've been watching Superstore, and it just ended this year. I really enjoy Superstore. So there's that too. Yes.
I've never seen it. I thought it looked really stupid from all of the trailers.
Oh no, it's exactly like working in one of those places.
Oh, and I've done that. So
yeah. Like in America forever. By the way, just throwing that out there.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
So that concludes our questions.
Yeah, that was we went on an 18-minute journey there.
Yeah.
Are you ready to get this week's episode?
Oh wow, let's dive into this problematic episode. I can't wait.
This is episode 14, Monette.
I'm Julia Sugarbakers. I'm Julia Sugarbakers. I'm Julia Sugarbakers. I'm Julia Sugarbakers. And that's Marjorie. Just so you will know, and your children will someday know, is the night the lights went out in Georgia. The lights went out, the lights went out, the lights went out, the lights went out. And that is the night the lights went out in Georgia.
I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Well, now you do.
Just in case listeners are not sure, since we didn't say it at the very beginning of the episode, hopefully you already know this by tuning in. This is Baking Sugar, a Designing Women podcast. I am one of your hosts, Auntie Maim.
We haven't done this in weeks. Have a divine Miss Mims.
I know. That's why I'm going to try to get us to do this more regularly so that we actually have the intro so that people understand, where to follow us, how to know who we are.
That's not how podcasts do it. They always do it at the end. They do a cold open, and then they talk.
We are drag queens. We introduce ourselves at the beginning as well.
God, fine. I am the divine Miss Mims. You
Thank
can
you.
catch me in my live shows non-existently.
Cool. Awesome. So, Monette, episode 14. I call this season 1 part 2 because we didn't know there was going to be a part 2 based on the last episode. This is from February 8th, 1987, which basically is the start of the spring's television season. And I will say this one was very exciting. It's problematic, and we're going to dive into that. But it was exciting because this is their first episode where they stick to just one story for the whole episode.
That's absolutely true. So let's get started. We are at Sugarbaker's, and Suzanne is telling a story.
Yes, one of her beautiful stories about sitting on the dais and being bored out of her skull while she was sitting on another one of her lunches.
Wait, and then Charlene interrupts.
Oh,
and
what's Charlene saying?
She learned she may be related to Loretta Lynn.
Not the Loretta Lynn.
Yes, the Loretta Lynn.
Oh my gosh, what does that mean?
Not much, really. Crisco commercials, and she can go to the Grand Ole Opry for free.
That's a pretty big deal.
You're damn right. You know what? The tickets to Grand Ole Opry are real expensive. I thought about going when I was in Nashville, and they are
very expensive.
Oh no, wait, that was Country Music Hall of Fame. Whatever, still real expensive.
Opry's expensive too. I've looked up tickets for them as well. They are also quite expensive.
So it says here in my notes that Mary Jo is in a mood because Quentin has issues.
All right, so let me just say this section here. Talk about foreshadowing for the rest of the episode. It took me a minute to be like, where is this going? And then I realized how much it directly connected to the rest of the episode, and I was like, oh wow, that's actually kind of clever. More clever than this show normally had been up until this point. So number one, Quint has been not listening to Mary Jo, and they make a joke about how he reminds her of the V8 commercial, which no one here remembers those at all. There used to be a commercial, dear listeners, where people forgot to drink their V8 juice before they left the home, and they smacked their foreheads.
And they should have had a V8.
Should have had a V8.
I like the ones that were leaning sideways, and they should have had a V8.
Ones,
yeah. I like those better.
Have a V8. Keep your diet straight.
That's it.
Yes. I used to love those too, actually. So not only is Quint being problematic in the way he treats Mary Jo, apparently he's offering fruit roll-ups to ladies and essentially trying to buy their affection using fruit roll-ups.
And Mary Jo says, my son is a 6-year-old grade school pimp.
Yeah. Wow. Right?
Right, I know.
I mean, a pimp? I mean, it's so weird that they would just... How random that they would...
Suzanne just send the children to military school, and then when you get old enough to house train them, and then they come back when they're 21, as long as they don't play their music too loud.
I think that's a great philosophy. How many kids does Suzanne have?
None, but she's had 3 parakeets.
Oh, okay. Then we should definitely listen to her.
There's a phone call. There's a phone call. There's a phone call. It's for Charlene.
Oh.
It's for Charlene. It's Monica Marlin.
Who's Monica Marlin?
She doesn't know.
Oh, crap. This is awkward.
It's Monette.
Oh my God, not Monette. Oh wow, from high school?
Yeah, she just moved from St. Louis to Atlanta.
Well, bless her heart. Oh my
and
goodness.
she's got a huge house.
Oh, why is she calling Charlene about it?
Because she needs it redecorated.
Oh my goodness, a big old house that needs redecorating. I bet that's gonna be expensive.
They're gonna see her at 2:00 today. Let me just tell you as a little sidebar. The way that they kept saying St. Louis, St. Louis, St. Louis. I have never heard a Southern person call it St. Louis in my life. Are they going to start pronouncing Illinois Like, what?
I can't actually. I was wondering that too when it was happening. I was like, wait, who? What? Why are you guys talking like that? Suddenly, like it was like, I guess I don't know. If they had just started singing "Clang Clang Clang," I would have been really happy because at least it would have made more sense.
Dear listeners, I have to take a break.
Dear listeners.
Clang, clang, clang goes the trolley.
Ding, ding, ding goes the bell.
Oh, God. So now we're at Monette's.
Just
We're at
wait,
Monette's.
dear listeners, if you don't know what just happened, you just heard two drag queens talking about the movie Meet Me in St. Louis. So
That's exactly right. So we're at Monette's. We're at Monette's.
Oh my gosh, her house is so big.
It's so big and beautiful. She doesn't want the color red to be used.
Oh my god, does she have a husband? Because I don't see anybody else there but her.
It's just her.
Oh, how independent. That's
I
really
know,
empowering, right?
Uh-huh. And do you know what her budget for this is?
No, what? It can't be that much. It's just her.
It's $100,000 to $150,000.
How can a single woman afford something so amazing?
I would just like tell you, I put that in a inflation calculator just see what it was.
Oh, no.
$236,000 to $354,000.
Shut up.
Yes.
Wow. I mean,
So-
technically, though, when you think about renovating the houses like that, that's actually not that strange in a budget, technically. So here's the thing, though, right? Because I'm so confused. So Monette seems to be very successful, and she seems like she's really happy.
Wait,
but she's
Charlene's
not-
here. Charlene just showed up.
Oh, hi, Charlene. Oh my God, we haven't seen each other in so long. I don't really sound like I'm from the same place you're from now, though, but it's okay.
No. Monica sounds like this. Okay, that's
No.
not true, but...
No, she doesn't. But she doesn't. She does sound like she is from basically like a California.
It must be all that French influence from St. Louis.
I know. Right? That was the other thing. It was like because I actually wrote down. I wrote down a few different notes. We skipped over a couple of them for a second, but I wrote down, why does she sound like that? That's all. Because I was like, wait. So first she was in the hometown, then she was in St. Louis, then she was like, hold on, why does she sound like? I mean, I know why I sound like that, but they never gave any indication that she had like that sort of background. It made it sound like she was just a hometown girl like Charlene.
So I will say that Monette really loves Charlene.
I know, it was so sweet, right?
And like she just talks about Charlene's main fault is she always picks the wrong man. The man she went to prom with didn't even wear a shirt to prom.
Yes.
And then he
But
ended up running a bank.
Yeah, that Charlene's boyfriend at the time robbed.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, Charlene, what are we gonna do with you, sweetheart?
I don't know, but her and Monette go upstairs to just to go look around and
Little girl talk, little get back to getting used to each other.
And let me just tell you, as soon as they leave, Julia, Mary Jo, and not really Suzanne, but Julia and Mary Jo are very excited about the money.
Yeah, Suzanne's just kind of like, whatever, I'm rich.
Yeah. But Mary Jo and Julia are $150,000. I mean, so much so that Mary Jo does a silent scream.
Yes, it was adorable, actually.
It was. So
I actually wrote that down.
And then my favorite character actor of this entire episode walks in.
There's only two other character actors in this.
He was having so much fun with this scene, licking his lips creepily and doing all that. The eyebrows. So enter a man, as my notes say, and he's being creepy. He's just sort of walking around the girls as they're talking, and they're like creepily gathering together, or like I don't know, who is he? Maybe if we keep talking, he'll go away.
I don't know about you, but is it funny that at the time I was sitting here thinking, wow, this would be really creepy now? not that creepy back then, technically, because men behaved like that back then without really kind of like.
So, speaking of that, I would like to take a moment and talk about your past. So, this reminded me of a time, and I was telling my coworker about this too.
Okay.
When we were in Flex, okay, it was a night that I was not doing drag. You just came up.
Right.
I don't remember why you came up, but you came up, and it wasn't when you were with that
I didn't
boyfriend.
come up to see you.
I mean, probably that, but you weren't with boyfriend at the time, if I remember correctly, or you had to.
Okay.
No, I think it was just before boyfriend.
Okay.
Okay. And so we're there, and you're like, "Oh God, the Urkels," and I was like, "What is he talking about?" And all of a sudden, these 3 Urkel motherfuckers, they looked like just ripped clothes of Steve Urkel, came around you and were like flirting real hard with you. And then they just sort of flitted away. And you're like, yeah, I always attract the Urkels. And I would like to tell you something about this because I don't think I ever followed up on this story with you. I would like to tell you that when you were not there, I made sure to look for these people every single time I went out. I don't know what kind of magic power you have, Auntie Maim, but let me just tell you, the Urkels only appear when you are there.
I mean,
and it's
I
a
don't know
gaggle
what to
of them. I don't know what to
tell you.
I don't know, like, dear listeners, they had the high-waisted skinny pants. Dear listeners, they had the tucked-in plaid shirts. Dear listeners, they had the big square glasses. Dear listeners, they were even the same skin tone as Steve Urkel.
Yeah, it's a thing.
I never saw these people again. Where did you? But every time you came, and like even when I was doing drag, you were watching the show. There they were, but they disappeared. What sort of? What did you do to cause this to happen? Is what I guess I'm asking.
I think what happened is I was the person that the great Lord gave the power to. That I'm not really good at being rude. So I've always that's just always been what's drawn, and I feel like my energy is just like tendrils shoot out, and they know that I'm headed to the bar because it happens down here too.
God. It's just anyway. So the man who shows up at Monette's wants Julia specifically.
So like what, he wants her to decorate his house?
No. He did ask if all the girls worked for Monette, but
Well, they do.
but he means something a little bit more.
Wait, not like.
Yeah.
What? But that.
Oh no, she's a prostitute.
I can't even handle this right now. I don't even understand what to do. I feel so conflicted because we're a very much a feminist empowering TV show, and we're all being very judgy about a woman who is a sex worker and very empowered. What do we do?
Suzanne. No wonder she has so many bedrooms. Julia. I was just hoping it was for an orphanage. The John. Oh, I wrote the John's having a lot of fun. Well, this isn't part of the thing.
It's like, I don't remember him making another comment.
And then they go through a little spiel about it being candid camera. And Mary Jo said, "Are there hidden cameras here?" And the John's like, "Well, if there are, I'm in much more trouble than you."
I love it so much.
Yeah, he was so good.
I feel like he was the most fun character actor that he's the most fun after Ray Dawn. Because Ray Don ate that scenery up when he was on camera also. But this guy was like, he was like a close second to Ray Don. I really enjoyed him. So then we go back to Joey. We're going back to Sugar Bakers because they're done. Charlene's had her wonderful little
Charlene needs to sit down. Charlene needs to sit down.
Wait,
Charlene
why?
needs to
What
because Monette is a member of the world's oldest profession.
You mean she's a carpenter?
There you go. You got it. No.
I mean, she does like to work
She's
with
a
wood.
madam.
Ugh, that just feels dirty. It feels
I know.
so dirty.
Two men tried to purchase Julia.
What?
They were there.
This way, I have to say, this was one of my favorite exchanges.
Between
Those
Suzanne and
two.
Julia.
Oh my gosh. I was like, this one's kind of like, what was it? Suzanne's like, I probably intimidated them. And then she used that climbing the mountain again. And then Julia retorted with, nobody felt like climbing you today. It's like, what in the world?
So I now know why they used to use St. Louis. Because Julia says, and I quote from my notes, "No way am I decorating 19-bedroom whorehouse for some floozy who just blew in from St. Louis."
Yep. That's right.
This was all the setup, dear listeners, for this line right here.
It's so important that because it would not have sounded as amazing if it was the other way
It
around.
blew in from St. Louis, from the Golden Arch, from the Big Arch, gateway to the west. Ugh. Have you ever been to St. Louis?
I think either I went when I was a baby or my family went before I was born. But my family went to St. Louis and there's pictures of it and everything. But I was not old enough at the time to remember it at all.
I've never stepped. As far as I know, no, I've never stepped foot in Missouri.
Yeah, I don't even know why they went to St. Louis actually. Now that I think about it,
I think it's still a slave state, so I don't know why they would.
half the country is still a slave state here. Half of the country.
Half. Girl, we're both. You're still in one of those states, and I'm barely not in one.
I'm in a slave state. Only they pronounce slave state in Spanish. So
We'll get to slave state a little bit later in this episode.
yes, we will. Lord have mercy. So okay, let's just pause here for a moment, right? Because let's be for real here. This episode, in the context of our modern lens, makes so little sense because we, as you know, the more left-leaning of people, have really taken up the mantle of, hey, sex workers can do what they want to do with their bodies. That's their bodies, and whatever they want to do, they can do it. And it was so strange to me that essentially nobody out of this group, like there wasn't even a devil's advocate in this. It was literally like
I would like to contradict that.
who was the devil's advocate?
Nobody was a devil's advocate, but
Okay.
Mary Jo was not anti any of it.
She wasn't also like very defensive of it either.
No. But you've got to remember, we're in the this is the same time frame as like Jessica Hahn and all of that stuff. And it's not good.
No, it's not good, but at the same time, it's just funny. Like we've watched numerous episodes now that are because remember, these ladies are just reading what was written for them. Yeah. So we've watched numerous episodes where there have been very left-leaning things, and there will be even more left-leaning things after this. But it was just interesting that in this, it was like, oh,
prostitution in America has never been okay. It's just not something we do. I mean, now it's starting to be kind of, but back then,
yeah. I know. It's just I don't know. Because they could have at least been they could have had at least a slash of compassion about it.
So Monette says she's in marketing and public relations.
Oh, well, that's kind of the same thing, though, isn't it? It's kind of the same thing. I think that's
Thanks,
what you have
thanks.
to. That's how you register it as a tax liability, I believe.
So, and then Suzanne gets in front of Charlene and goes on this like spiel
Yes.
about how she wanted to be like Anita
Anita
Bryant.
Bryant.
But then Anita Bryant got all like into the gay thing and against the gays, and she quit showing up at the pageants, and like she was the reason she was afraid that the gay men were going to take her man, and then her hair started looking deflated. And what's the point of this? Suzanne didn't even remember the question.
I So okay.
And then Mary Jo says we need the money.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, at least okay. So unlike most episodes, I actually watched this one with my husband, and of course, his pop culture references are not great. And so he was like, "Who's Anita Bryant again? And what does she have to do with homosexuals?" And I was like, I had to pause it, and I'm like, do you remember the orange juice lady from the 80s? I was like, remember, like she like when she was a Miss America, and then she became like the spokesperson for the orange juice, whatever. And but then suddenly she got like this wild hair and became like super anti-gay stuff. And he kind of looked for a second, and you could see like his brain going backwards in time. And he's like, oh,
Yeah, and she got pied in the face.
She did.
Yeah,
she did.
yeah.
That didn't stop her though. She kept on persisting.
So now we're back at Monette's, and she admits she's a whore,
What?
like just flat out. And then they all had like a chastity pact, and the only one to keep it was Charlene.
That's right. Oh man, Monette actually had quite a lot of the guys in high school. I was like,
she
all right,
did.
girl.
They all had a lot of the guys in high school. Like,
Yeah.
hear about it, Randa, I think it was Randa.
Randa.
Right.
It's Randa. That's why it's hard to say if it's Randa or Randa, because it's got one extra syllable than it should.
And then, so Monette gives a very good pro-prostitution rant. Like, she does what you expect Julia to do.
Yes.
Like, this is my body. Yes, I may have thought. She basically sang fancy for you.
Wait. Now I want to see what year Fancy came out. Hold on, because I feel like it's actually not that far from this.
Probably not, no.
Let's see. This was Fancy was only 3 years later. That's it. So that tells you that in the country world, at least, people are there's a reckoning afoot.
Well, we also find out that Monette is executive secretary for a union in Copenhagen.
They have unions for this?
They do, yes.
Well,
and she
good on her.
prefers, what's the term? Love counselor, love
advisor.
whatever. And then, so here, I just, Julia goes on a very long anti-hooker, anti-sex worker tirade, in which it culminates to seeing a S&M piece of pornography and comparing it to slavery.
Yes.
And saying that she's degrading women or diminishing women.
So then that's the point at which I had probably the same realization that you had, which I was like, oh, this type of feminist approach.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, oh, now it makes sense, because up until this point, I was not sure, but then that happened, and I was like,
Uh-huh.
Oh,
and then Suzanne goes up towards like, you're doing this wrong. Just
There we
marry
go.
rich men.
I
Just
was
marry
happy
rich
with
men and get
this.
alimony. I make more money than you doing this.
Yep.
And then Julia replies, yes, she diminishes us too. But
That's
her
right,
I can handle.
Her, exactly. And I was like, wait a minute. Because let's be real honest here, society folks out there. We know good and well that there are so many women like Suzanne who will freely marry people. There's some men that will do the same thing for rich women. They will marry them and they will stick around for the couple of years that they need to stick around until they kick the bucket or until they, leave them and get that alimony. And let's be honest, that's the same thing. You're just selling yourself. So I was really happy that even transpired, because up until that moment, I was like, is there going to be any sort of anything happening?
So then Julia said, well, I think you're actually wanting to get out of this because, you've reached out to Charlene, you moved back here. And then Charlene grabs her hand and says, you know what, I really think you need the love of a man.
Jeez. I wanted to throw up when this happened.
God, I skipped over, that is a 2 to 3 minute conversation. I just boiled it down to two quick notes because I couldn't even... I dazed out at that. The second time through, I write my notes and I was like, I
genuinely, it just goes against everything for me. It literally just goes against everything for me. I'm just like, what? Once again, just like the other episode with Mary Jo, all of the feminist talk, all of the strong women, all of the independents, and now we have them once again talking about you just need the love of a good man. I'm like, what is this show? Is a contradiction constantly of what it's trying to be about. I don't get it.
Well, so then a man walks in who's late for Monette, so she's having a cigarette. And
she smokes.
She smokes.
To which, on top of that,
Charlene's like, no, she's busy. She's having her cigarette. You're late. And then she looks at Monette and says, we'll work on that later. Then he approaches Suzanne and says, well, you don't look like you're busy. She says, finally a man with some taste. End of episode.
Yeah, stop there. So we don't get caught by...
You're right.
Because remember, we're going to be on YouTube, and so we don't want the episode to get flagged.
Girl, I'm too tone deaf to get flagged for anything.
Okay. I'm just saying. I just don't want to say. But so it... Oh, man. I tell you, this...
Go ahead. We'll save that for a second. For the did you like the episode? Did you find yourself a Miss Georgia World?
Honey, you already know it's Monette. Okay. So, dear listeners, I don't know how many of you have followed our pages or anything like that, but so as a drag queen, I actually sew my own costumes, and I kept pausing and staring at that thing that she had on because I don't know how closely you were looking at it. It was a really interesting garment because it was a big shoulder padded part, right? But the shoulder pads themselves were wrapped around something. So there was something solid inside. And then the sleeve came inside of that, but it all looked to be attached to each other. It was a very bizarre garment. And I was fascinated by the construction of it. I'm probably going to go back and try to figure out how it was made. And there was pleating and there was all this other stuff. And just to top it all off, her contour was on point. It was beautiful. It looked like a Robert Palmer music video girl, but with long blonde hair and slightly older. I was enraptured. Can I just give a worst to just real quick? My worst person this episode. I don't normally have one, but whatever the hell Mary Jo Shively was wearing, my gosh, why it looked like a combination of Victorian wear and Little House on the Prairie. I did not understand this garment combination at all. And it had the weird little lady pendant that was in the middle of it. I was like, what's happening right here? How old are you? What are you doing?
Dear listeners, I will have to apologize for Maim's audio going off the rails there for a minute. I will attempt to fix it. I do not know if I'm going to be able to.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I got a little overexcited. I'm so sorry.
After seeing it, We called it 80s school marm ghost.
Yes. Literally, like she's dressing like pioneer woman, but like a pioneer woman with money, right? It's like, it's so bizarre to me. I thought, it's really funny. So, for our dear listeners, probably one of our future series is going to revolve around probably our number one all-time sitcom, Are You Being Served? And I was thinking about this episode I recently watched, because I'm rewatching it now, where Mrs. Slocum tells Miss Brahms to cut the frills off her blouse. And when I saw Mary Jo, I was like, oh, there we go. And this show took place over a decade later, and she's rocking the frills on that blouse of hers.
So, my Miss Georgia World is Suzanne. That blue dress was so beautiful. And it had this weird, like, shiny pattern in it. Girl.
I can make that for you if you like. I think I can make that for you if you like.
If you got to find that fabric.
Well, I mean, I'm saying, like, I can go down to Miami. Like, they have lots of fabric stores. You know how difficult it will be to find a shiny fabric in Miami? Not difficult.
So, did you like the episode?
I can say for the first time of our series, I not only did not like it, I kind of hated it, because it to me, well, number one, as you can tell from us just doing this show, dear listeners, we're pretty heavy-handed feminists, myself and Miss Mims. However, we do recognize that there are different branches of feminism, and this episode kind of reminded me of that, and it kind of like made me feel a little bit nauseous, especially when essentially this woman is slut-shamed, and the profession is slut-shamed for the whole of the episode. And then the end of the episode is essentially them telling her, you know what will fix all of this? A man. I wanted to throw up. So, no, I did not like this episode.
So, thank you for asking if I liked it or not.
You're going to answer it regardless.
I know. I thought parts were funny. That is my synopsis of whether I liked it or not. No. But this is not... And the trouble is, I've just liked a couple of episodes now that we've gone through, right? Like,
You have.
I have. And this one is not worse than any of those, right? Like,
No,
the
not.
timing's off, the acting's better, all that's on point. The message, comparing BDSM to actual slavery.
It's just full of it. It's full of slut shaming and sex shaming. Like, it's full of it, this episode. That it was like, what? Like, once again, it just was that reminder of, oh yeah, there's that other type of feminism that, views anything essentially other than marital sex as being degrading to women.
Yeah. All right, girl. Well, tell them who you are and where they can find you. Let's wrap this up, because we have already talked for nearly an hour. We've done 6 questions. We've talked about slut shaming. We've slut shamed.
We have.
We've met Monette. You're gonna fix her garment.
Yeah. I have to figure out how to make that garment.
You know what it may be? You know what it kind of looked like to me? It looked like an 80s version of Diane von Furstenberg wrap dress.
No, I'm telling you, you need to go back and look at it. Right?
Okay.
It's because there are things about it that are I've legit, and I'm not to exaggerate, there are things about that dress construction wise that I've never seen before, and I was genuinely like, what's going on here? Yeah.
Do you think it's Halston?
Ooh.
I'm joking. It's definitely not Halston. It is not sleek enough to be Halston. But it could be what's his doodle.
It could have been
Oh my
Halston
God.
at J.C. Penney's Halston.
I got it at Penny's. No, it could be, oh my God, why is his name? I saw it in the window and just had to have it. The costume designer.
Oh, Bob Mackey.
Bob Mackey. Thank you. I don't think they could afford Bob Mackey.
No.
But he did work with CBS. So it could have been something, it could have been something they had in storage.
Yeah, that's true. So,
Maim, tell them who you are and where they can find you.
you can find me on.
I said tell them who you are and where to find you.
Just to recap, our dear listeners, my name's Auntie Maim. I'm a drag performer and comedian here in Miami. And you can find me on Instagram at auntie.maim. That's MAIM because I'll cut someone. And you can find me on Facebook at I'm Your Auntie Maim, one word. And and you can follow our podcast. If you're not familiar with our podcast, you can follow our Instagram at Mims and Maim. And I think that covers me.
Yeah. And I am the Divine Miss Mims. You can find me at Divine Miss Mims on Twitter. I had to think because I was thinking ahead. There's no thee there because it's taken by somebody else who is a rapper, and I definitely do not rap anything except for presents. And like that's pretty much the only social media I'm active on. We have a YouTube now. Mims and Maim is our YouTube. If you prefer to get this podcast there, like and subscribe there. It's the exact same thing, just automatically uploaded. Or this podcast is available wherever you get your podcasts. And now that Apple Podcasts is now international, we are international on Apple Podcasts. We already have. I know we already have a few listeners in Germany, Bahrain, and India. But maybe this will spread them out a little bit more. I said a few listeners. I don't know how much.
I mean, I don't mind spreading ourselves across more listeners.
You know what, Monette? On that note, all right, girl. I think that ends it for this evening.
All right, my spams. I hope you have yourself a good week ahead.
Bye, girl. Bye.
Bye, honey. Bye.